I was about to say, joke's on y'all, because I can be a retard all by myself for hours on end. I don't need you bastards to show up. As I proved yesterday, I can do this solo if I have to, and I can talk about all kinds of craziness anytime I need to. I mean, I do it every day. It's not a problem.
Yes, that was.
Yes, that was 100% Zelensky. That was in his back in his comedy days when he was a actor and stand up comedian and stuff. I don't know. Did he do stand up or did he just do like uh,
I
televised
think
like comedy stuff?
I think he did. He did basically like what Crowder does, like the sketches and stuff like that.
Well, and
He
like
was like a
that thing was from some sort of a like a Ukrainian Saturday Night Live type of a show. Like they did
yeah, like a satire
sketch,
type thing.
yeah, sketch comedy and stuff like that. Yeah, he was a comedian. That was like that's what's crazy about all of this is, and I know we've talked about it before, but it's one of those things that as it stretches on, people forget. Um, People forget like where all of this came from and how it all started and how it all happened. Like when he won his election in 2018, it was a huge surprise. Like and the whole so remember
Well,
the Trump
to like
Ukrainian phone.
U.S. like the U.S. it wasn't a surprise because they were wanting him to be their guy, but like I mean that was
Well,
kind of like the whole
because the guy
objective.
who right because the guy who had been in before had been their guy. He was the guy that they had put in whenever they staged the entire coup and everything in 2014 and took over everything.
Crimea, yeah.
And then but then he stopped being useful to them in the way that they were hoping for. So then and I don't think it was the U.S. government. I think it was some other interests that were. Whereas the guy who was in before was actually installed by the U.S. government. I
Legit
think.
plant. Like
Yeah, I don't think Zelensky was a government op, but obviously they figured out. I mean,
they
he
can
was
use him pretty well.
yeah, he's easy to use. So he was yeah, he was an actor and a comedian and all of that stuff. And after he got elected, the whole like all of the controversy around the phone call between him and Trump was like it was just Trump calling to congratulate him. Like there was no quid pro quo going on. There wasn't like threatening or anything like that. Like Joe Biden legitimately threatening to withhold funding
Funding,
uh,
yeah.
when dealing with the Ukrainian Secretary of State or whatever back in
Told him
2014.
something about 20 billion. You know, like
Yeah,
oh yeah, I told him he can kiss that 20 billion goodbye or something like that.
right.
But
Like
yeah, it's
that's
like
that's
okay.
legit. The stuff that they were trying to talk about with Trump when Trump called Zelensky after Zelensky like the fucking craziest part about that was the entire transcript got released of that phone call and there was nothing there. Like it was just two guys talking back and forth. Like you could read the whole transcript and there's no way you could read anything into that to think that there was some sort of quid pro quo going on. But that was what they tried to run with for a fucking year. And then, and
Well, I
now we've
mean,
got all of this other
the
stuff.
only thing you could say was like he was trying to be amicable, and he was like he was essentially saying, "You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Like as long as we're allies, we're gonna be working together." That's essentially what it was. It's like, hey, our countries are probably going to be working together. Like let's make this a good relationship. That was pretty much all it was.
Right. There wasn't anything like nefarious going on with the conversation. But then, then you fast forward a couple of years and we get the whole war and everything. And people forgot that Zelensky was literally just a comedian and like the whole his run to office was a complete fluke. And as soon as he got into office, he basically started like, okay, so they should have had an election last year, right? Did they have they just forgone future elections until the war is over?
It's suspended. He completely suspended it.
Wow, imagine
Yeah.
that. Funny, funny how that works out, isn't it?
Yeah, basically they suspended them indefinitely. Like, okay, we have a war going on, so we can't have elections right now. So that's what.
Imagine that. God, it's a good thing. It's a good thing the U.S. doesn't do that. If we like suspended elections because we're at war somewhere, we wouldn't have had an election since the like late '80s.
See, at least what we do is we just, take a long time to count the ballots. We have 2 week elections instead of a couple days.
Although, if we had suspended the election since the '80s, uh, what that would have been? That would have meant that George H.W. Bush would have just stayed in office this entire time, and then it probably would have been treated like a monarchy, and it would have just gotten passed on to George W.
W.
W would still be president, and then he doesn't have any sons, though, does he?
Does he? I think he has daughters, don't he?
He's just got the two hot daughters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know how it would then whenever W dies,
make a queen. Like I guess they would be the queens.
I don't know. I think we need to go back to I think we need to go back to doing it like old school style. Like when the king dies, then everybody gets to fight for who's going to be the new king. Like, if he didn't have a son to be his successor, then that means it's time for us to find out who's gonna.
It's a power struggle.
Yeah. You get to fight your way to the top.
You got to try to be the top lobster.
Did you see his Black Guns Matter shirt?
Yes.
There were some folks in a group chat that I'm in that were a little bit offended by that. He's shit posting and trolling and selling fucking t-shirts. Like if you took it seriously, that's more on you than on him. Like
him, yeah.
Right. This is not intended to be a serious thing. Speaking of something that is very serious, though, like the most super serious of the serious. This is actually where my title for today's show, "The Never Give Up, Never Surrender," came from. Is here we go. People are furious as the team refuses to host LGBTQ Pride Night.
Texas Rangers.
Yeah,
Texas Rangers. They're holding out.
They're holding out.
Honestly,
they won't do it.
Honestly, that makes me want to become a Rangers fan. Like even as a Braves fan, like it's like the Braves are, because the Braves are going in on it. You know, like, oh, we have a Pride Night or whatever. It's like, of course Atlanta would, because Atlanta's kind of gay. Like as far as they're pretty homo over there.
My son has a rainbow flag Cardinals hat that his mom got for him. I don't know. I can't remember. He's had it for a couple years. I mean, it's a nice hat. I wouldn't wear it personally, but it is a pretty, like, it's a very well made hat.
I mean, everything. I assume it's a New Era cap. New Era, like all their products are. Like,
oh yeah, it's a really nice cap. It's got the Cardinals logo and it's in rainbow. And he wears it doing yard work and stuff. But I mean, anyway. Yeah, like the Rangers holding out here. And here's the really crazy what I thought was craziest about this is like people furious. Who? Like
the weirdos on Twitter. That's who it is. When they say people, every time. So take note of this. Like every single time they say people outraged or people furious, it's always they're looking. It's these news outlets that are looking at Twitter. They're seeing a few blue-haired weirdos saying, "Oh, I can't believe that they're doing this. Oh, I can't believe that this is happening." And then it's literally like 5 people, maybe 10 or even 20. But like that's insignificant compared to like, okay, what is the overall Texas Ranger fan base think of
and
this?
That's like look at the turnout for the drag nuns at the Dodgers thing. Like nobody was there, and of the people who were there, half of them were hecklers. Like, and then they had like season low attendance for the game itself on that day too. Like nobody is actually like pushing for this kind of shit. This quote from the league
is pushing for it, but like they're getting pushback because some of the teams are realizing that, oh, this isn't working for like.
Well, that's like the NHL. The NHL has just canceled all of that shit going forward. Like even though the NHL as a league has really been pushing that dumb bullshit, the league has also suspended doing any of that stuff going forward because the teams and the players have pushed back so hard on it. And like this right here, this is the problem with this sort of stuff. Is this quote from this longtime Texas Rangers employee, which I doubt this longtime Texas Rangers employee actually exists. And anytime it's an anytime it's an unnamed source, I just assume it's probably fucking bullshit. But
yeah.
nonetheless, the fact of the matter is, it's a free marketing opportunity. It doesn't cost them anything personally, and they can boost revenue by looking inclusive. The fact that there hasn't been one for Texas is the biggest actions speak louder than words I've ever seen. Except that it's not.
It's in the opposite direction. Well, it is.
It's not a free marketing opportunity. It is
costs,
proving
yeah.
Right. It is proving that it costs. It does cost them something because it's not boosting revenue. People see this stuff and they're getting turned off by it and they're turning away from it. Like sports is not the place for inclusivity and bullshit. Like sports is where people go to escape from the insanity of reality, and
reality is all the inclusive crap. I mean,
right.
It's hey, you got to do your diversity training, you got to do all this kind of stuff at their job. So I mean, do they really want to come hear about diversity, equity, inclusion whenever they go, just want to drink a beer and watch a game or whatever? I mean,
right.
I don't think anybody does that.
Right. That's it. That's like when I put on a ball game, I want to watch baseball. I want to watch basketball. I want to watch football. I don't want to get talked to about how I'm a bad person because I own a gun or because I don't wave a fucking rainbow flag out in front of my house or some bullshit. I just want to watch sports. And that's the way 95+% of sports fans are. They don't want any of that bullshit. And so the more it's getting pushed into those parts of life, the more people are finally starting to be like, all right, fuck you. No, I don't want this. Stop doing this. We're going to put our money where our mouths are, or in this case, stop putting our money in your pocket if you're going to do this. Like, we're not going to show up for this shit. We want you to feel it. We want you to understand this is not something that we are going to support. Knock it off, or you don't get our money anymore.
Well, it's like NASCAR and the Bubba thing, and they started doing the whole supporting Black Lives Matter, and then now they're doing a Pride, like they had a Pride advertisement and everything, and they're trying to market to people who don't like NASCAR anyway. So I don't get. There used to be this marketing thing where like you would look at demographics and you would be like, this is your demographic. You want to really lean into that demographic. Like, obviously, like, things like, games like Call of Duty would want to be like about violence and, market to boys. Like maybe you show a sexy woman in the ad because like teenage boys want to play this game. But now you can't do that kind of stuff because that's seen as like objectifying women. So they're going really weird about this. But like it's clearly there used to be demographics. You lean into the demographic. You push it as hard as you can.
Right.
You create super fans, and you get that money. Get all the money.
Know where your bread is buttered, and just hit that. And if anybody from the demographics outside of the ones that give you money start screaming about it, say, well, if you actually like showed any level of interest or support for this, then maybe we would also cater to you, but you don't. So fuck off. We're going to keep doing the things that make us money. And if you don't like that we do the things that make us money, well, watch as we throw all of our money around and say, go fuck off. Like, I don't care what you like or don't like. Like this idea that we have to be nice to everybody and not hurt people's feelings, fuck that. People need to have their feelings hurt every goddamn day. If you are trying to make somebody else's life miserable, you deserve to have your feelings hurt ad nauseum, nonstop. You should always have your feelings hurt. And somebody should be actively going after you to hurt your feelings until you shut the fuck up and leave people alone.
And
like,
this is
I can do that. If any like corporation needs to hire people, like needs to hire somebody to just go after the people who are trying to like push back against the things that you do well. Like if you do something really well and they're like, oh, you should stop doing that because that's not good. Just hire me and I will tell that person to go fuck off until they finally get so depressed and realize what a miserable piece of shit they are that they just subtract the problem by one. Like, I will do that for you. I will make that my mission in life. You can pay me handsomely to make all of your trolls disappear of their own free will.
Yes. Yeah, make them make the correct decisions. But yeah, it's easy to see like that certain demographics like certain things, and that's never going to change. Like they're like one of the YouTubers that I like to watch, Romanian TV. He talks about like how they're removing, you know, like boobs and violence from like a lot of the games because they want to be inclusive to women. And it's like, but the teenage boys and you know and these you know guys like us, like we like to see boobs and violence. And so it's like that's your core fan base, and you cater to that. You make your money. You don't care what else anybody else has to say. There's the myth of the wider audience. Like, you think that you can get like a wider. Let's get a wider audience. We want to expand our fan base or expand our customer base. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't work.
You can't make people like coffee who never liked coffee. You can't make people who don't like race cars like NASCAR. You just can't.
Right.
It's not gonna happen.
Instead of widening your audience, you cheapen your product. And then by cheapening your product, then you take the audience that you already had, and now you're going to lose them. Because the people who didn't like you when you were doing the things that, you know, actually made you money, they're not going to start magically liking you because you stopped doing some of those things. Like, people who don't play video games aren't going to come around to playing video games just because you don't have a lot of gratuitous violence and tits flopping around. Like, they probably just don't like video games. It's not because of the violence and the tits. It's because that's just, they're not into gaming, period. And the people who do like video games, of those broader demographics that you're trying to reach, the ones who would actually be willing to spend money and do this stuff and to be more involved in your product, they don't care about that stuff. What they care about is that you make a good product. And the reason that they're currently not giving you money probably doesn't have anything to do with the gratuitous violence and the tits. It has more to do with the fact that whatever your game genre is, that's surely not their thing. They like to play something different. And that's fine too. If you have a good marketing strategy of, hey, this is the thing we make a fucking shit ton of money making this thing. Let's just keep making it. Like, don't change it. Don't fuck with it. Don't try to reach people who never cared and are never going to, like, that was always my problem with the cancel culture bullshit and the corporations and the different, like, businesses and stuff like that would cave. Like, they would get all of this pressure. Oh, you do this and that's not good. You need to stop. Or we're going to boycott you. Like, motherfucker, you never shopped here to begin with. Like, I don't need to change my strategy out of fear of your boycott, because
you've already been boycotted.
You're not my customer. You're not the person I'm trying to. You're not my target audience. You're not my demographic. I don't care if you boycott. You're not the person whose money I was trying to get anyway, and you weren't giving me money to begin with. Like, that was always my problem. I was like, anytime somebody comes out and says all this bullshit and tries to pull this cancel culture nonsense, tell them, go fuck yourself. You are not my target demographic anyway. I don't care about you. You may as well not exist. Like, that's the thing is,
that's the correct response.
If you do that, now they will make an ass of themselves. Now they will really show who they are and what they are, because they cannot deal with not being acknowledged. The second that you tell them, I don't care about you, you don't matter, now you're going to see the switch flip, and they're going to turn, and they're going to go absolutely rage lunatic. And then you can use that as your own marketing ploy, is be like, look, these are the fucking psychopaths that don't like us. Like, now you can actually widen your audience base by just showcasing how psychotic your opposers are.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if you follow any of the, like, gaming and news and stuff, but there was a Twitch streamer. He plays Call of Duty a lot. He had like, apparently he did a deal with Activision to get his own, like, character in, like, skin in the game. So, and then he said he commented on something on Twitter publicly saying, like, it was about the clash between the Armenian protesters and the LGBT whatever protesters, and he just said they should leave the kids alone. That's the issue here. You know, he just became a father, so you know, I guess probably, you know, he understands now, like, what this kind of stuff is, but and he just disagreed, like, as far as that, and they removed it. They said, due to his comments about the LGBT community, we're removing his skin from the game. So they removed his skin from the game, and then you know, he got, like, he was getting a lot of hate because people were like, "Oh, he's saying anti-LGBT stuff, blah blah blah." You know, all these people were thinking that that's it's like a dog whistle because he's saying leave the kids alone, like and everything. But
If you think leave the kids alone is a dog whistle, then it probably is. Like that says more about your organization and what y'all are pushing for than it does about the guy who said it. Like
yeah,
if you're offended by that, there's probably a reason. It's because you're defensive of the fact that you know that's what's going on and you don't like that they're calling it out.
yeah. Yeah, that's what he's. You know, a lot of people were saying. Even one of the former, like the former people who they partnered with to like be one of the characters in the game, was like she's super based. She was calling him out. She's like a call a pedo and stuff like that. But anyway, so he stood by what he was saying. He said I stand by what I said. You know, he did the right thing when cancel culture comes for you. He was like they this is what I said, this is what I stand by. Like if you don't like it, you might think I was a little bit harsh, a little bit offensive, but that's you know, that's on you. That's more on you, not on me. And that's he did the right thing, and he actually got like super rewarded for it because he got a lot more fans than he had before, because there were people like, hey, you know, like this dude's pretty cool if he's saying, hey, leave the kids alone, you know.
Yeah, the guy's willing to stand by what he said and defend himself instead of caving to it. Yeah, there are a lot of people who will get on board with that. That's the way you should handle those types of situations. Be
Yeah,
firm in your beliefs, be firm in your principles and your values and your morals, and stand by it. When the attacks come that are unbased or unwarranted or just completely asinine, stand by what you believe and what is true, and tell them go fuck yourself. And people will actually support that. Whereas what you see, like this cancel culture bullshit, people do that, and then you see these businesses start to lose money and start to like really go into a downturn because not only did the people who were coming after them over the bullshit not actually support them anyway, they're not going to start supporting them after they cave to it. And the people who were supporting them to begin with are like, well, fuck you. If you're going to cave every time somebody screams, oh my gosh, then I'm not giving you my money. Why would I support somebody without a fucking spine? So like,
well,
yeah,
it's like, you know, I completely stopped playing Call of Duty. You know, I've been playing, you know, other games. I've been playing Destiny with you. I just, you know, I know there's problems with other games, but like if they're willing to cave and do this kind of stuff, I don't care as much about, you know, Destiny, virtue signaling, or whatever, as much as a company just caving over something simple like, hey, leave the kids alone and everything.
right. Like
Yeah.
Destiny's virtue signal stuff, it doesn't affect the gameplay. Like it doesn't come into the game. Like they might post some dumb shit on their social media or something, or like Bungie itself will post something, but none of that involves gameplay. Like like last night when we were playing, you know, I said, did I get the Pride Sparrow? It's not actually a Pride Sparrow. Like it's the Guardian colors. It's not actually like rainbow ordained or anything like that. But you know, I thought it was funny. But it's not like there's nothing in the game that's actually like gameplay related. And even if there is something that gets put into it, it's really superficial. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, like an
Doesn't
emblem, like I mean, those I'm not gonna go crazy. You put a rainbow emblem, like even one of the games I like to play, just, you know, casually, Paladins, like they have all the rainbow flags under the sun, like every different one, as you can put as your emblem. I just don't care because I like the game, you know. As long as they treat the game right and they don't like, hey, like here's a, you know, see, they haven't even done like Overwatch has done and just been like, hey, here, you know, all these characters are just gay, you know. Like that's
no,
not.
see, that's the problem. That's where the problem comes in. And like people like us aren't complaining about there being gay characters in video games or television shows or movies or whatever like that. Like that's fine. Nobody cares if you have gay characters. It's the fact that what they're doing is they're objectively making this character is gay, and that's the only thing that matters is that they're gay. That's the whole thing that's important about them as a character is that they're gay. We're going to make being gay or being trans or being a woman or being black or being what the fuck ever this minority thing is that we're trying to run with. We're going to make that the most important, most focal part of this character, and we're going to browbeat the fact that this is a gay, trans, furry, female, bisexual, multi-gender or multicultural, what the fuck ever. Like, we are just going to hammer this into your fucking face until you can't take it anymore. That's what everybody's pissed off about. No, like we were talking about in Destiny, like the guy who's on the Cosmodrome or the EDZ, Devram K. Like, we were running a strike one night, and he like very offhandedly mentions his husband Mark. So like, which I think we know that guy. He's currently doing time for his participation in January 6th. But anyway, he casually mentions his husband Mark, and I was like, "Holy fuck! Did that guy just say he's gay?" Yeah. Like, how have I been playing this game for 6 years and I never knew that
noticed it? Yeah.
Gay? Like, it's never been a part of the story. It's never been something that they pushed. If you go visit this dude at the place where he is, like, it's not ordained in rainbow flags and bullshit. He's a fucking sniper in a bell tower. Like, you would never expect. Like, it's not even a part of the game at all. It's just they have a gay character, and you get an offhanded mention of it every once in a while. Like, what was it? Friends from College was a show that was on Netflix ran a couple seasons, and they have like what was really funny is I don't think either of them are actually gay, but they have a gay couple in the show, and like, aside from they have like a wedding episode where the two of them get married, like, aside from that, like, being gay is the least important and least interesting part of these characters. Like, who they are as characters is what actually makes them good. And if you didn't have a gay wedding episode, you wouldn't even think about it ever. Like, it's not a part of their identity that's important. And that's how it is for normal gay people out in the world. That's like the normal ones, not the like psychotic activist types, leftist, just the normal gay folks. They don't go around like making a big deal of it. That's just being gay is no different for them than being straight is for us. Like, it's just who they are. Like, it's not something that you need to create some big persona out of.
They don't have to, go to the Pride event and, wear some kind of, like ratchet straps on them and everything. Like, they don't have to do that. They just go about their daily life or whatever. Like,
right.
They don't have to get in front of kids and, wave around pink dildos or whatever.
Rainbow dildos. It's got to be a rainbow dildo, or it's got to be the
whatever
the trans dildo.
Yeah.
Gotta have the trans flag painted on the dildo. And that's speaking of. Did you see the where did it go? There we go. I thought this was pretty funny. I'm trying to figure out how all of these work exactly. There are more than two genders.
Oh wow!
I don't know how this. I'm really concerned about these two right here. Like, I'm not sure. So, got your tits cut off, got a dick made, but still have a but still have a womb. Is that what's going on here? So, like, could this be a pregnant dude? Like, you got to stick it in the ass, and then you're still going to be able to hit the womb and produce a kid? Like, is that how this one works right here? I don't. And this one liked his dad bod, so he kept the gut, but he wanted to get some tits and a vajayjay. I don't know.
Or it's like a woman who wants the dad bod belly. I think that's what it is.
Well, so there was one person that was looking at this one said, I have identified my right hand as a woman since I was
Yeah.
13.
No, like somebody made a meme. It was like it was some I forget what some chick it was. She's some like think like libertarian chick. But she was like me when I opened a jar on my own or whatever. It shows like one of the one with the woman and she has the
Oh,
like
that
man
that one right there,
yeah,
the woman with the man arm. Let's see. I think this one right here, the male up top but female on the bottom, that's Ellen Page.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Ellen's gotten her a dick yet. I don't know, maybe so. If Ellen Page ever gets a dick, it's probably going to be like the most impressive dick ever. Like it's going to be it's going to look like uncomfortably like out. Just it's going to look uncomfortably disproportionate to the rest of that like scrawny little boy body. It's going to be like a baby's arm holding an apple attached to a stick figure. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
I mean,
yeah, these are
that
these
just
are
sounds like
interesting.
God, what's that famous douchebag? He's he's the guy that was dating the Kardashians. God, what's that?
Oh, who's that dude that used to miss kick the NFL kicker that would choke all the fucking time? That's him right there, here in the bottom right hand corner. God, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Oh, shit.
I mean you're describing a lot of kickers there.
Well, yeah, I mean there was one that did like was notorious for it a few years ago, and now I can't remember who the fuck it was. God dang it. Oh well, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. Yeah, these are interesting to say the least. I don't know how all of that works exactly, or how they think it works. And for the non-binary crowd, they sure do go with blue and pink a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
for to be not two or more than two options, you sure are giving us a whole lot of just the two options.
Look, see, they have to have the perfect. They need to just put all the colors together if they want to be non-binary, just like have everything together, which usually just like a weird brownish black color.
And then we're supporting BLM.
Yes,
which was always the goal, because BLM's fucking gay. Speaking of some gay shit and boycotts and whatnot, did you see this about Starbucks? The Starbucks union says workers at more than 150 stores will strike over Pride decor. Not because of putting up Pride decor, but
because
right. And they're going on strike and they're trying to like go after Starbucks corporate. And Starbucks corporate office has maintained through the whole thing, like, hey, decoration at each store is at the discretion of the store. Like, we're not telling you can or can't do anything. Like, don't quit coming after us for this. We don't have anything to do with it. It's the
these are the franchises,
store franchises that get to decide what their decorations are going to be. If you have a problem with it, then take it up with your individual store. Don't come after us at fucking in Seattle. Like, that's because that's the thing, is they're going after like Seattle. They're going after like Starbucks corporate for this stuff.
See, to me, that's still like the cowardly answer. In reality, is like, if they had some serious like balls about them, they would just say like, that's how it is. Don't like it. Don't work here. But I don't know. Like, I guess that they realize that this is kind of your consistency that you've made, so they kind of have to cater a little bit to them, because a lot of a lot of gay people drink Starbucks.
I mean, just a lot of people period drink Starbucks.
Yeah,
I don't know why it's fucking insane that many people drink Starbucks. It's like Stephanie got some gift cards one year, and so she just went and bought beans. Like, she just bought a whole bunch of bag, because she doesn't drink Starbucks. She doesn't go there. The lines are always stupid long. Like, I'm not waiting that long for coffee. I'm sorry. I just don't care that much. Plus, I have plenty of Fox and Sons sitting on the shelf next door. I can just throw on a pot whenever I want. I don't need to wait in line for coffee. Like, the longest I'm waiting for coffee. That's right. If I'm waiting for coffee, it's because it's still brewing and I'm making bacon while I wait. Like I'm not sitting in a line for some Starbucks coffee. But anyway, a few years ago she had gotten some. She just got like the pound bags of beans because she had like 3 gift cards and doesn't ever drink Starbucks. So she just went in one of the stores and bought a bunch of beans, and then I ground them up and we made coffee and it was fine. I had to mix them. I had to mix them stronger than what I normally do to get a good flavor out of them. But I mean, they were all right. It wasn't anything bad. But it's not something that I'm gonna fucking wait in line for. And like I can't believe how popular this stuff is. But yeah, I mean,
Well, a lot of times, like a lot of people, they don't want to have their own brew, like they don't want to have their own coffee brewer, like they don't want to deal with all this, so they'll just go to Starbucks and pay the $5 or whatever to buy the coffee, and that's their coffee for the morning. They'll go swing by there, get their coffee. They don't want to take the time to let it brew and deal with all this. They think that it's like a waste. I mean, these are the same people who will, they don't want to cook breakfast at home and stuff like that too. So they're those kind of weirdos. Like they're like, oh well, I'll. It's like those TikToks, like of the chicks who don't actually do anything at work. Like oh, so I went by Starbucks, then I went by the local cafe for breakfast, and then I went to then I went to some restaurant for lunch, and then we hung out at a bar for dinner. It's like can you not ever just make something at home and just like be content with that? Like, no, it's got to be some kind of like it's out and about, like like everything has to be like a social event all the time.
yeah, that shit's just insane to me. Like I would I would rather cook my own breakfast or cook my own meals, do my own grilling, like have people come here, throw on a pot of coffee, like I, as opposed to going somewhere and doing that. Like, why? I don't understand. I don't understand. The people who are so hell bent on that sort of stuff are the not going to make it whenever things finally do come crashing down. And like we
Yeah.
keep saying that like it's some hypothetical in the distant future, but I I don't think it's all that distant necessarily. And like there are a lot of people that are not going to be able to fend for themselves, and their kids aren't going to be able to fend for themselves, and their parents probably can't fend for themselves. Like it's going to get pretty rough for some folks.
Speaking of somebody who can't fend for himself, uh, apparently you can't defend yourself whenever you're being called out on Twitter. Stepson of a billionaire lost on the Ocean Gate submarine deletes Twitter after. This is apparently there are two things. Okay, they dug up his past history, and apparently he said they believe he said some racist stuff or whatever.
Everybody's said some racist stuff in their past. I say racist
Yeah.
stuff in my present.
Yeah, see, like here he's dropping M bombs.
And there's no hard R there.
They apparently they've moved on from that. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be the hard R anymore. If you say even within because actually a popular Twitch streamer got in trouble because he said the he said N word with A, but they still canceled him because he was he apparently he was singing rap lyrics and he said that, and then he got canceled too. But yeah, so apparently just a lot of stuff like that. But he also, where was I had where he also was liking, yeah, here it is. This one's funny. He deleted his Twitter account after being mocked for publicly flirting with an OnlyFans model moments after asking for prayers. Oh my god. This guy deletes his Twitter after flirting with an OnlyFans model just 30 minutes after asking for prayers for 5-man crew on vessel.
I mean, why were people giving him such a hard time for flirting with the OnlyFans model after asking for prayers for his, like, it's just his stepdad. It's not like the dude actually like contributed any genetic material to him. And, you know, I mean, hey, death and sex go hand in hand. Like, death is an aphrodisiac. So if you're pretty sure your stepdad died, it makes sense that as part of the grieving process, you might want to get laid.
Yeah. Can I sit on you? Yes, please. Oh my god.
Wait, he asked her if he could sit on her?
I think so.
That's some weird kinky shit. Usually it's the other way around. Like,
yeah.
Can you sit on me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Weird. I mean, I sincerely could not give a single solitary shit less about the stepson of a billionaire who's probably dead in a capsule in the bottom of the ocean trying to go see the Titanic. Like, there's no way for me to possibly give a single solitary shit about that. This is what passes for news these days, and the whole reason that did you see the report that that the Navy had
already knew that
the Navy knew that the fucking thing imploded on Sunday, and they held it so that they could release the story the same day that the Hunter Biden charges were going to be coming out. That way they could divert from Hunter and the plea deal. Obviously, and this comes as a surprise to nobody at all. Like, no shit. And whenever this came out as a story, that was one of the first things that smart people like us were saying was, okay, this is like the rage porn right now. What's actually going on? What are they using this to cover up? Like, that's the way this works. Yeah.
See, they could have been using it to cover up the Minneapolis mayor making an appearance at Juneteenth.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is fucking impressive. Blow that video up. Let's see this in all its glory. Play the music. Get it, boy! Get it! Is the Minneapolis mayor like a 20-year-old?
Yeah, he's like a young dude. Let's see. I can't see. Minneapolis. Man.
That's pretty funny.
Jacob Frey. Let's see. I mean, he's 41 years. I mean,
oh, he looks good for a 40-year-old. He gets down better than I can.
I
cannot get my knees to do that anymore. Like, play that again. There's one spot there where he's like right there. That
Yeah, my knees
straight up buckle. I'd be done. I'd be laying on my back and somebody have to help me up. Like, y'all be carrying my ass home. Ain't no way. I'm happy. I'm happy for him. Somehow by the rest of the build of him, I kind of doubt that he spent the years abusing his body with physical sports like we did. So that's probably why his knees actually bent, and he's probably given his knees plenty of bending exercise over the years as well, and they're probably used to doing things like that. But yeah, there ain't no way. Man, my right knee. If I just like kneel down too fast, I feel like I'm about to die. Like, yeah. I'm pretty sure this thing is gonna it's just gonna like explode everywhere at one of these days. Like, you're gonna find a bloody mess of my leg on the ground and me just sitting there like, well, it happened.
See, I thought mine was gonna blow up whenever my son was practicing baseball. Like, I was getting him to swing off the tee, and so I'm setting up the ball on the tee, and Genius he just hauls off and swings and like whacks me right in the knee. And I was like, oh, there it goes. It's gone. He full on. He he's not meaning. He's obviously he's only 5. He's not like super strong. But he waylaid, like he swung as hard as he could, just smack, and I folded. I completely folded. I was like, oh no. Ugh.
I've been lucky. I've never had one of my kids just like take me out like that. Thank God.
At least he didn't hit me in the balls. that would have been
worse. I almost took Sean out one time. He I think I've told this before, but he was like at our old house. There's like a little foyer, and then the door that went out to the carport, and then on the other side was the steps that went down into the basement. And so like I'm walking out of the kitchen into the little foyer, going to go outside, and he jumps up from the steps and like tries to scare me, and I just bam punched him square in his chest, and then I caught him real quick before he fell down the steps. I was like, dude, like we've talked we've talked about this before. Like, you know, everybody has that fight or flight instinct, and mine is murder whatever it is, and then figure out what it is after it's dead. Like you almost got thrown down the steps. And Nadia jumped out at me the other day. She about got hit with it. I was my dog Ginger. She won't go outside during the day. She's a fucking vampire dog and doesn't like to go out when the sun's out. She will go out all night long, but if the sun is out, she does not want to go out. And obviously, she can't hold it that long, so she has to go out during the day. So I have to pick her up and throw her out because she's a fucking pathetic diva. So I'm like carrying her through the house, and Nadia jumps out at me, and she about got hit with a fucking dog. I was like, y'all know better than to do this. What are y'all like? Do y'all just have a death wish or something? Like,
yeah, I mean,
is this right? Is this the same? The Minneapolis mayor? Is this the same one that they booed?
I don't think it's the same one. No.
Yeah, I think that guy got voted out in 2022. I thought that was a different one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the mayor got voted out because people didn't like the way he treated all that or something like that. So they were voting to get him out because they were like, oh, he's not inclusive enough or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I thought the mayor from 2020 got he lost his re-election bid. They wanted somebody that could twerk instead. Man, see, I knew I should have played that Tiara Mac intro today. If I had known we were going to talk about a twerking mayor, I'd have put her up there and let her do her thing. We'll use that for the outro today instead.
Yeah. Oh, dude. She hadn't been in the news in a bit. I mean, I figured she would have tried to like do the AOC kind of marketing where she would just like try to be all in the news all the time. But I haven't seen anything more about her after that.
I think she lost. Stacey Abrams lost. Beto lost. Like a lot of the DNC darlings like that lost their elections and just kind of disappeared. Like they've been trying to push Beto for I don't know, 6 years or more. They've been trying to push Stacey Abrams for at least that long, if not longer. They keep on pushing these people, and people keep not responding and not voting for them. And I think kind of the Tiara Mac thing, she kind of fell into that category. Like they had this campaign to push her, and it fell apart. And now they're finally starting to realize like we can't keep backing these horses that nobody wants anything to do with. Like we've got to start doing something different. I don't know. I haven't seen any like. Usually there are a bunch of fringe like candidates like that are just stay in the headlines and stay in the news all the time. Like they're always talking about stuff, and people are always having them on shows and stuff like that. And they're getting like Stacey Abrams was in the fucking Starfleet thing or whatever. Like was in a Star Trek thing. Like usually these types are constantly getting promoted, and I'm not seeing that happening a whole lot here since the 2022 election. So it makes me kind of curious what's going on. And I kind of think what's going on is they don't want to put anybody else's name and face out there because they're worried it'll take away from Joe Biden. Like if you have Stacey Abrams showing up on Star Trek and doing commercials and speaking events and all this other bullshit, if you have all of these people in 2023, the DNC darlings, if you have them out there publicly making appearances, making speeches, and doing things, then you're going to have your base start saying, why aren't we running this person for president? Why can't we have somebody actually challenge Joe Biden? Why do we
Why can't
have
we
to go
have
with? Why do we
Gavin
have to
Newsom over
have
there?
the fucking senile 80-year-old that shakes hands with the air and trips over his own feet, wanders off into the grass, falls over on bicycle rides, and says random crazy shit? Like, why do we have to have
Hey, he
that
gets
guy
stuff
as our
done.
presidential candidate? Why can't we have any of these people? So I think they're deliberately suppressing letting any of those people show up for the time being, just to make sure that there is no legitimate challenger for Biden, because they don't consider RFK a legitimate challenger. Like, no matter how
Traction
well
he
he
gains.
polls, they will never give him the time of day. Like, he is
A pariah.
2024's Bernie Sanders. It doesn't matter how well he does. The DNC is never going to give him a fucking sniff.
Yeah, I mean, because even if someone like Gavin Newsom comes along, because like whether people like think he's done a good job, he at least plays the part, right? The plays the part well enough, right? So him coming in there being well spoken and being able to have a debate with Biden or something like that, and Biden being like, oh, I don't know Jack, I don't know Jack, whatever, something. He'd go off on some tangent, and Truman, I don't know, Truman, blah, blah, and like, so what are you saying, Joe? Like, what are we talking about? And having a debate with somebody like that, it's just going to end very poorly for them if they actually want Joe Biden to be the candidate.
Right. And that's the problem, I think, or that's the purpose behind not having anybody else showing up right now, is because they don't want anybody to pose a threat to Joe Biden. They can't have that challenge.
Is he even gonna run though? Like, because here's the thing: is yeah, he's declared that he's gonna run. It's a year out from the election, essentially, but is with all the things going on with the Hunter Biden thing, even normies now know about the Hunter Biden thing. At least that he made a plea deal on the stuff. Like, that's the minimum that they know. Hey, he had some tax charges. He did a plea deal for those tax charges. Okay, well, that's most that the thing that most normies know. But still, that's something that's a negative for Joe Biden, is that his son is a liability. So are they even going to try to run him with all this baggage, or is he going to step down and let somebody else, like a Gavin Newsom, just go for it instead?
Honestly, at this point, I have no idea. I can't believe he's made it this far. I thought he'd be done a year ago.
Yeah.
I've been calling for the removal of Joe Biden and the insertion of Hillary Clinton as president for a year and a half. I still can't believe they haven't actually done it yet. Like, I mean, I guess there's still time. And like I've talked about the way that that the Indiana Republicans do the Secretary of State here in the state, because like everybody knows, statistically incumbents are more likely to win. So what they do is and it just so happened, like, it's like a dumb luck kind of a thing. Like, they had a Secretary of State that died, and so they inserted a new one in like the year before the election, and so the new one then gets to run as the incumbent because they've already served for a year. So, but now that also means, because they're only allowed to serve X number of years, whenever they get to the end of their term, they have to step down a year early. And so then a new one is installed. And now the new one gets to run as the incumbent. So you're always voting for the incumbent. You never have a primary, you never have a new election. You always have the incumbent every single time. And so, like, that's why I keep thinking like they're gonna do something to get Biden out, so that the next one can be put in place, and then they're running as the incumbent. So it takes away the threat of challengers. It's like, this is the sitting president. This is the person, it's not like the acting head coach thing in the NFL or something where it's meaningless. Like, if you're the sitting president, that has legitimacy to it, and now you are the incumbent. So like that's why I keep thinking that they're going to do something like that. But I think they backed themselves into a corner with Kamala where they like, and no matter how much they want to do it, they can't do it. Like she has made such an ass of herself. Like her approval ratings are the lowest, I think historically the lowest of any political like figure ever. Like her staff turned over 8 times over the course of 6 weeks at one point. Like she cannot keep a staff. People fucking hate her.
I think the only person lower is probably Mike Pence at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I
think,
even then, you know.
I think Pence still probably had better ratings than her just because of the like uber conservative Christian base that he would have. Like, what's Kamala's base? Like, she's disingenuous across the board. Like, yeah, I don't even think black women like her
because they probably think she's making fun of them because like she does that like fake black woman accent or whatever, and it just comes off.
Everything about her is fake.
Yeah.
Oh well, I guess it's a good time to promote.
I guess one last fake thing. I guess apparently Snopes is pretty fake. Snopes. Snopes got fact checked on the community notes. So Starlink is a subsidiary of SpaceX, which Elon Musk runs. Was the missing Titanic submersible relying on satellites from Elon Musk's SpaceX to communicate? In context, although the support vessel on the surface uses Starlink, all communication with the sub is via text message transmitted using low frequency radio and has nothing to do with Starlink. Starlink operates in high frequency bands and can't be used underwater.
Snopes just out here like, how can we make this Elon Musk's fault? Elon is clearly some sort of unique evil. We got to make a lost submarine his fault.
You can't even run a good psyop. Elon Musk replies.
Oh my god! Like anybody that uses Snopes as a fact-checking source, unironically, like you are probably a fucking retard. Oh no! Don't do it! Hold on. I'm the retard. We got to promote. We're doing the fuck. What do we call it? The night before tomorrow, Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 Eastern, 6:30 Mountain, 5:30 Pacific. If you live overseas, I don't know. Figure it out for your fucking self. But anyway, we're doing that. And Leighton over in Alaska, I don't know. You're like, it'll be middle of the afternoon for you. If you're in Hawaii, early, late morning, I don't know. I can't cover all of the American time zones. It goes too far. But anyway, for the normal ones, we're going to be doing it in the evening. Be me, Trey. Dag is really excited about getting a drink with his friends. Magoo will be joining us. We're trying to bust Mark out of jail. Don't know how it's going to work out. If we succeed, then we'll get Mark in here as well. Anybody else that wants to join us, hit one of us up. I'm sure we have no problem with sending you the link. Clyde probably won't participate, and he's the only one that gets kind of anxious whenever there's more than 4 people involved. So we'll be all right. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. Anytime we start just adding people, he starts getting real itchy and like wants to run away. And like I understand like being awkward in social situations and stuff, but I mean we're all on the internet. Like it's not like we're like together and you got to worry about us like bumping into you or something. Like you can always just turn your mic off or turn your camera off if you want to. Like or turn your screen off or whatever. Ignore us for a little while. Drink more.
Or just say something stupid. That's the best way to
yes. If there's too many people here, just say something really like outlandishly stupid and make everybody incredibly uncomfortable, and then this problem just sort of sorts itself out. I mean, if you throw something up like this, then people are bound to leave all on their own.